Shalom. This is to all Israelite groups and all Israelite communities and all breakoffs. Shalom. This is to all Israelite groups and all Israelite communities and all breakoffs from One West and breakoffs from breakoffs from breakoffs from breakoffs. No matter what rainbow uniform you wear, red, white, purple, and white, all white, it don't matter. You should all treat the ISUPK like your weird, misunderstood Sabbaths. You shouldn't do anything until you counsel with the ISUPK. We'll tell you when and what to eat. We'll tell you who to marry. We'll tell you who to have sex with and how. We'll tell you how to resolve conflicts with your wives. We'll tell you how to resolve conflicts with your kids, your brothers, your sisters, your parents, your friends, everybody. We'll tell you when and how to pray. We'll tell you how to direct your life in a way that's pleasing to the Most High God of Israel and our Black King Yahushua, a.k.a. Jesus Christ. We will be to you instead of a God. Just like the Most High told Moses in Exodus 4:16 that Aaron would be to him instead of a mouth and he would be to Aaron instead of a God, that's what we'll do for you. It is what you all need because none of you know what the fuck you are doing. I pray you understand. Shalom.
Hey, Shalom, Israel. We the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Start out on 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. It's the Friday night Lashawan Qadash class where we break down the scriptures from a linguistics perspective, something that your Christian pastors have been ill-equipped to do for so long because they were never put in place to give you the truth. I mean, they were put in place to deceive you, to give you something that was your culture. I mean, that's why you see in the Christian church all these wicked things happening. You see in these Christian Israelite groups all these evil and wicked things happening. You know what I mean? Your so-called religious leaders are walking you right into a burning house, as Martin Luther King said. And they walking you right into the hands of your oppressors. I mean, which is the reason why some Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, most Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans just got done celebrating, you know what I mean, Thanksgiving, which is the celebration of the mass genocide of your own people. You know what I mean? Only an evil and, you know what I mean, only an evil and wicked, you know what I mean, only an evil and wicked power and principality, you know what I mean, can get Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to do such a thing where, you know what I mean, you've been fooled into celebrating something that's so evil, something that's so gruesome to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And then if you try to confront or you try to pry Thanksgiving or Christmas or any of these evil holidays out of Black, Hispanic, and Native American hands, they're going to fight you. They're going to battle you. You know what I mean? They're going to hate you. They're going to reject you. They're going to think something's wrong with you. You know what I mean? And you got your Christian church to thank for that. But here in the ISUPK, we've been teaching Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans the truth according to the Bible since 1969. I mean, we are the home of the truth. If you are not in the ISUPK, you are not in the truth, unfortunately. But it's not too late. You know what I mean? We love our people. We love Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. That's what we do this for. That's who we open our doors for. That's who we go to camp for. That's who we teach class for. I mean, that's what we had these food drives for and these clothes drives. That's why we travel from city to city, state to state, zone to zone for. That's what we do these things for. So if you in some other Israelite group, if you in some Christian Israelite group that's not the ISUPK, you know what I mean? You can always come through. You can always come home. You're always welcome to the ISUPK where we'll teach you the truth according to the matter. You know what I mean? We're not trying to get your money. We're not trying to get your, you know what I mean? We're not trying to get your women. I mean, some of these Christian Israelite groups, they trying to get your men. They trying to get your men and get your children. You know what I mean? Ask Joy Morgan. You know what I mean? If you could ask her, she was still with us. You know what I mean? To ask, she would tell you how those Christian Israelite groups, you know what I mean, that wear they purple or whatever uniform that they wear, like General Mayak said, I mean, whatever uniform they wear, you know what I mean? If she was alive to tell you, she would tell you how they prayed on her. You know what I mean? And even after she was unalived by some Hamite that they let inside their group who are not our people and who should never have been that close to Joy Morgan. I mean, if she was in here, he would have never been that close to Joy Morgan. But even after she was unalived by that Hamite who should have never been there, they still preyed on her. They still was, you know what I mean, receiving money from her account even though she was passed away. I mean, receiving money from her family even though she was passed away. You know what I mean? Unaware to her family. You know what I mean? Some of these Christian Israelite groups like Sakari that just fell apart, you know what I mean, getting pegged, but you know what I mean, getting bent over by they woman. You know what I mean? These purple Israelite groups, you know what I mean, they passing around rod pictures amongst they so-called priests and deacons and officers and things like that. I mean, it get disgusting. Some of these Christian Israelites, some of these individualites, you know what I mean, they holding their own Thanksgiving feast. You know what I mean? But that's why we in the ISUPK, we are the home of the truth, and we say that we are not affiliated with any other Israelite group because we want to make that distinction for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to know where home is and where danger is. I mean, if you are not in the home of the truth, you are in danger. All right. And in the ISUPK, we here to give you a beacon of light so that you can have somewhere where you can know you can go and be safe. You know what I mean? But as I said before, tonight is the Lashawan Qadash class. We break down the scriptures from a linguistic perspective. I mean, if you got any questions or comments, you know what I mean, you got any questions or comments, you got to put them in the chat. You can always join the live. Let me see. I'm gonna post a link in the chat. I'm post a link in the chat. And you're more than welcome to click the link. You're more than welcome to click the link if you like to join the class, get on stage. You know what I mean? Just all I ask is that you act like you got some damn sense. All right? Just act like you got some damn sense. Act like how you would act in a Christian church. You wouldn't, you know what I mean, start wilding and acting a fool in that Christian church, even though they lying to you. Even though that Christian church lying to you and been lying to you and been preying on your sons and your daughters and your wives and your husbands, you know what I mean? You don't go in that Christian church wilding. I mean, don't come up in here wilding. All right. Well, with that, we're going to go ahead and get right into it. All right. We've been, for the past couple weeks, lucky as I share my screen, for the last couple weeks, we've been going into the Pictographs. And we haven't been able to quite get through it completely. But tonight, we're going to try to get through it. All right. I'm going to start from the top. It's a lot here. I'm going to start from the top, but bear with me 1 second. What's happening? It's a lot here. Bear with me. But it's a lot here. Good night. Well, yeah, we just gonna run through the pictographs. All right, we're gonna run through it. We're gonna try to get through it. For the past couple weeks, we've been kind of touching on a couple things. We kind of honed in on the specifics. Kind of honed in on some specific things. You know, Most High in Christ, and all of those things is necessary. I know some brothers and sisters, if you participate consistently, or whatever the case is, I know you probably just trying to get the information and just trying to go through it. But you know what I mean, each time we pause and hone in on a particular thing, it's for a reason. It's for a good reason. And with each, you know what I mean, with each of those things, it's gonna elevate you a little bit. I mean, it's gonna elevate you just a little bit. Good night. It's a lot here. but it's gonna elevate you. It's meant to elevate you, and it's meant to add a little bit of something to your tool belt. All right, so that we can understand our language. All right, that's the whole point. So that we can understand our language, so that we can speak our language to one another. Because right now, we speak our oppressor's language. We speak our oppressor's language, whether it's English or Spanish or Patois or Creole or you know what I mean, uh, um, Portuguese or whatever the case is. We speak our oppressor's language, right? But the whole point is to get our oppressor's language out of our mouths so that we can speak our own language. And that's the whole point. So each time you attend Lashawan Qadash class, each question that you ask, you know what I mean, every time you take notes, you know what I mean, whatever you got going on, it's a step closer for us to have our culture and identity back. So, lucky. But all of these things is a step closer for us to return to our language and our culture. You know what I mean? So lucky. Let me see if I can find this. So lucky. Bear with me 1 second. So lucky. Bear with me 1 second. So lucky. So lucky. No sweat. But all right, but that's the whole point of this class, all right? For us to be able to return, from, you know what I mean, celebrating Thanksgiving and Christmas and Halloween and to be able to come back to our culture. All right. So if you haven't already, I know if you haven't already, I mean, now's the perfect time to follow along and get these down in your notes because these are going to be real important for you to understand. So lucky. So lucky. All right. All right, so for the past couple of weeks, we've been going over the pictographs. We're going to go ahead and dive back into that. All right. We went over a couple of these. Again, we went over these already. But we just going to run through the review and then go from there. Good night. All right. So the first character, right, is is a sideways. What is a sideways ox head? A couple of these is gonna be review. Sideways ox head. You know what I mean? Which is for Salakia. A lop. All right. A lop for ox head. And then writing these down, I know we went over this again. We went over this last week, but we went over this last week. Salakia. I know we went over this last week, but all of these words that's associated with each of these characters, it's gonna not only help you identify each individual character, but it's gonna add some words to your vocabulary, so that again you'll be one step closer to learning and understanding your language and getting your oppressor's language out of your mouth. Right? Because we all speak our oppressor's language. We all speak some sort of form of our oppressor's language. And you know what's crazy about it right now? Our oppressor, I don't know if you noticed, but our oppressor, Donald Trump, the president of Babylon, spirit, which is spiritual Edom and Sodom, you know what I mean, who perpetuates every evil thing that's in this earth. I mean, whether it's genocide or robbery or LGBTQ or, the celebration of these pagan holidays or idol worship or whatever the case is. I mean, they starting to, they're able to racially profile, ICE is able to racially profile, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans by their language. All right. Which lets you know that they never considered you an American in the first place. The fact that they can racially profile you when it comes to, to determine whether or not you're an American citizen or not, because that's what ICE is supposed to be for, right? It's immigration, right? It's supposed to be, I think ICE stands for, it's supposed to be for immigration. It's supposed to be for like immigration police. Long story short. So lucky. But it's supposed to be for immigration. Right? To enforce immigration laws. The whole problem, you ask any oppressor, if you ask any oppressor if it's right what they doing to the Hispanics, and if ICE is, if you ask any so-called, some coons, some Black, Hispanic, and Native American who stands with ICE, you ask them if what they doing is right, they gonna tell you, well, all they gotta do is get their paperwork together. All they gotta do is come over here legally. Any oppressor, any Hispanic that joins ICE or Border Patrol, they're gonna be like, well, all they gotta do is get their paperwork. All they gotta do is come over here legally, but they're coming over here illegally. If they followed the law, then they wouldn't have this trouble. But what you're seeing right now, that don't matter. None of that matters. Whether you came over here illegally or illegally, and even though your oppressor is the number one illegal immigrant in the entire planet, they invade countries, they steal the land, they force their language and their culture on you, and then they pretend to be you. Wherever they go, they steal the language, they steal the culture, and they pretend to be you. They the last of the Mohicans, they the last samurai, they the Mayans, they the Incas, they the Native Americans, they the Egyptians, They're the Hawaiians. They're whatever. They're the Jews. You know what I mean? They're whatever culture that they steal. They're the number one illegal immigrant in the world. Yet they want to persecute Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans who were already here, or who they stole or sold into or bought in from who they bought and forced into captivity and the hard bondage. And then after we build up their country, we till their land, we make their country great, we make America great. Then they want to racially profile. You know what I mean? So you being a, you know what I mean, to bring it back full circle, they claim that, you know what I mean, ICE is justified in doing what they're doing, kicking in doors and zip tying children, throwing them in the back of box trucks, unmarked box trucks. You know what I mean? Mass criminals. You know what I mean? Where the police are supposed to identify themselves. Government, you know what I mean? They're supposed to identify themselves. If they're going to arrest you, they're supposed to be able to identify themselves. They're supposed to have a badge number. They damn sure not supposed to be masked up, but they're able to kick in your door and be masked up and drive a, you know what I mean, throw you in the back of a box truck, an unmarked box truck that any Joe with $40 in a driver's license can get. You know what I mean? Just based on them thinking that you might be an illegal immigrant, which lets you know that they never thought that you were, they never looked at you as American. They never looked at you as a native. They never looked at you as, you know what I mean, a citizen in the first place. I mean, so us speaking Spanish, us speaking English, us speaking, you know what I mean, patois, French, Creole, what's it called? Portuguese, us speaking these different languages, you know what I mean? Us learning their culture, us fitting in, it doesn't mean anything. So we might as well learn our language. You know what I mean? We might as well learn our language, just lean all the way into it. Because what the Most High is doing with ICE and how cruel Donald Trump is being to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, he is forcing you to separate. You know what I mean? He's forcing you to separate. He's squeezing, you know what I mean, your zeal to serve your oppressor out of you. He's pushing you into He's pushing you into serving him and coming back to your culture and gathering together with your own people. You know what I mean? That's what you're seeing happening right now. Where he's drawing the line in the sand, where you see, where at first you could, I mean, it wasn't a big deal. You celebrating Thanksgiving, wasn't no big deal. Wasn't a big deal at all. You know what I mean? Because it was just the status quo, right? It was just the status quo. It's Thanksgiving time. It's the last week of November. I mean, it's time to get that turkey out. And then right after Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving was yesterday. So today they started the Christmas music and everybody about to start decorating their houses for Christmas. And that's just the status quo. Before that, it was pumpkins everywhere and jack-o'-lanterns. And I mean, everybody was getting their scary decorations on and all of that. I mean, it was just the status quo, and that's just what it was. But now you see, brothers and sisters being locked in cages. Like the brothers and sisters that you might have forgotten, but you know what I mean, ISUPK, you know what I mean, Commander General Yohana did not forget. You know what I mean? The brothers and sisters that's in the ISUPK, we didn't forget about those brothers and sisters that's on the border, locked in cages still, getting mass deported by ICE, you know what I mean, getting manhandled and disturbed, you know what I mean? They kicking in the door, you know what I mean, throwing flashbangs in their houses and all of that, throwing their kids in the back of trucks. We didn't forget about them. They not having a good Thanksgiving. You know what I mean, you think that it's harmless celebrating Thanksgiving. You forget about those children that's being, you know what I mean, that's being mass deported, or you forget about them children that's being mass unalived or mass, you know what I mean, that's coming up missing. You know what I mean? They're not having Thanksgiving. Brothers and sisters walking around with MAGA hats on, talking about I stand with ICE and this, stand the third. And then you got the nerve to make a turkey in celebration of the mass genocide of Native Americans. You know what I mean? They not having a good Thanksgiving. Those brothers, you talking about you stand with ICE, those brothers and sisters that are being racially profiled, snatched out of their homes at 2-3 in the morning, they not having Thanksgiving. I mean, so the Lord is drawing a line in the sand, and eventually you're going to have to make a choice. You're going to have to make a choice of who you stand with. You see all these things happening to your brothers and sisters, and you still going to celebrate Thanksgiving. You're going to still celebrate Christmas. I mean, the Lord is drawing a line in the sand, and he's making a separation between those who got the zeal to follow our culture and separate from our oppressor, and those who are still allegiant with our oppressor. You know what I mean? But Shalaki, let's go ahead get back into it. So alap, which is an ox head, all right? Shalaki. Shalaki. Good night. All right, next one is ba, which is ba yath, which is tent or house. House. All right. Which is what this character is. You know what I mean? That's what this character, that's the explanation for the shape of the character. All right. And again, all of these characters, the reason why they important, or just knowing this what these characters mean and where they come from, it'll help you be able to identify each character without having to think about it. You know what I mean? You see the shape of the character, you see how it's written, you see it when it comes up in text and in you know what I mean, in documents or in archaeology and things like that. You don't have to think about what this is or what it means. You don't have to fumble through it. Just like in English, you don't have to think about what an A is and what sound an A makes. You don't have to think about a B and what sound a B makes. You don't have to, so on and so forth. You just see it, and then your brain automatically registers it, like, okay, this is what it is. And then you see words and you just recognize the word. So now when you read in a book or when you're reading something, you just flow right through it. Like, you're not going character by character, letter by letter, word for word, sound by sound. You just look at the phrase or you look at the word and you just read right through it and you just flow right through it. That's what these pictographs is going to help you do. All right. So Ba Bayas house. Ga Gamal Gamal, which is camel, which is what this is, the hump of a camel. All right, see if you can see that cursor on the screen. Okay, cool. Yeah, this is the hump of a camel. That's what that is. All right. Bagada. Last time, I believe, we went over Da, which is where the Dawada comes from. Dalaf, which is door or the front of a tent, right? And this is why, you know what I mean, this is where this symbol right here comes from, this shield of David, you know what I mean, the seal of Zion, you know what I mean, the representation of the nation of Israel. That's where this comes from. It's a da and an inverted da on top of it, right? Which is King David's name. It's King David's signature. All right, that's where that symbol comes from. Right? That's why when you look at ancient and this is the tell-all, right? You look at if you do some reading, you do some research, you look at the garments that the Native Americans was wearing before those ships arrived on American shores, when before, so-called African Americans was sold into captivity by the Africans, which we are not. If you look at the temple ruins, over in Israel, over in the they call the Middle East, if you look at those temple ruins, you'll see the symbol all over the place. You look at ancient garments that Native Americans in North, Central, and South America wore. You'll see this symbol, the Shield of David or the Magun Dawada, all over our garments, all over our headpieces, all over our, footwear, all over our, our temples, all in our languages, all in our books, all in our texts. All in our artifacts, all in our jewelry and pottery and dinnerware and things like that. You'll see it all over the place. Because this is how you knew that, in ancient times, when you saw this symbol, you knew who we was representing, and this is the nation of Israel. The 12 lost tribes of Israel. All right. So that's where that comes from. Abagada. Ha's the next one. Good night. Ha, which is Hana. Shalaki, which is behold. Shalaki. All right. Why? To hook. Or a tool used for like fishing. Like a spear. All right. Shalaki. Then Za. And you'll notice a lot of these characters, they kind of share some. You'll notice that a lot of these characters share some characteristics with English. And that just shows you how much of a culture vulture that your oppressor is. Like we was talking about earlier, your oppressors, they invade countries. They want to call you illegal immigrants. Meanwhile, they go into every country, every, region, infiltrate every people and, mass genocide them, just do them dirty. And then they call themselves that culture. They put themselves, in the Middle East and call themselves the Jews. They call themselves Israel. They You know what I mean? They go into Africa and call themselves the Africans. You know what I mean? They invade America and call themselves the Native Americans. They call themselves Americans. They call themselves you know what I mean, all these different things. They invade, you know what I mean, South America and call themselves Hispanics. You know what I mean? And you could see in our language that a lot of because this is the ancient Hebrew. This is the ancient Hebrew that we're going over. I mean, this is the language that you'll see in a lot of the I mean, the Los Lunas Decalogue stones, the what's it called? The Salakia. I can't think of it right now. But all the you know what I mean, these ancient, you know what I mean, these ancient artifacts, these ancient documents, these ancient you know what I mean, temples, and like the Temple of Capernaum, you know what I mean, you'll see this written on the walls. You know what I mean, you'll see these written in stone, etched in stone. You'll see this, like we said before, you'll see this on our garments. You know what I mean? And this is the language that we were speaking before those ships arrived on the shores. And then what did your oppressor do? They turn around and mirror and mimic their language after ours. Like, you'll notice that this character looks kind of like an English Z. I mean, but English and Hebrew are two very different languages. All right. So how did these languages become so similar unless if they existed in totally different time periods? I mean, how did these languages become so similar and one existed long before the other? Well, the only explanation is that one is a copy of the other. And because the Lashawan Qadash, or the Holy Tongue, the ancient Hebrew, is older than English, then you can only assume, you know what I mean, that your oppressor mimicked and copied or made their English after the Hebrew. All right. Abagada Hawazaha. All right. All right. Ha is Ha wa ma, which is a wall or fence. All right. And a wall or a fence is something that's used to protect, right? Used to mark territory and to protect. You know what I mean? To keep what's on the inside, and to keep what's on the outside. All right. So, and if you like learning the language, like as you see these pictographs, like you'll start to see some of these words, like what I just said. A wall or fence is used to protect or to keep something. You know what I mean? To shelter something. All right. So you might see this word used for that word. You might see the same word for wall being used for the word protect or to shelter. I mean, right. But and as these are just things that you'll start to you know what I mean, you'll start to notice as you read the language. Like that's why it's important to attend and participate in the what's it called? Sabbath service. I mean, you'll start to see these words, you'll start to see these phrases in the Hebrew, and you'll start to make that correlation. And not only is that going to help you understand how the language is used, but you'll be able to pinpoint and notice these. You'll be able to pinpoint and notice these words. You'll be able to pinpoint and notice these words when they come up in the scriptures, and you'll also be able to it'll strengthen your memory and your relationship or your word association when it comes to these words and these characters. I mean, so like the whole point is for you to, like, the best way to learn the language, or the best way to know that you've learned the language or you understand the language is, you know, I mean, the best indicator is that you don't think so much. Like when you first reading, when you first learn to read, like, you know, I mean, take it back to when you first learned how to read English. I mean, you reading your first book. I don't know if y'all brothers and sisters remember your first book, but you had to think about what you was reading. You had to think about the sounds each word made or each letter made. You had to put it together. You had to sound it out. You know, I mean, that was something that I'm sure we all familiar with. You know what I mean? But you had to sound it out, and then you put those words together. Even when you were sounding it out, sometimes you would sound it out and still get it wrong. And you had to learn how to, you know what I mean, you had to learn how to put certain sounds together properly. You know what I mean? But after a while, after you practice, after you dealt with it for so long, you stop having to think about it so much. You stop having to think about it so much. And it just became second nature to you. It became second nature to you. Now you barely even read. You barely even read what's on, you know what I mean? What you barely even read, like, or you don't sound out each individual letter to sound out each word and to make a sentence. You just flow through it. Like, you read what's on the board. Ask all your questions on our new WhatsApp. Contact us on all our social media, or call us at, you know what I mean, 512-761-7539. Like, you don't, as you're reading English, you don't think about it. You know what I mean? You read what's on the screen, you don't think about it. You just flow right through it. You just recognize what you're seeing, and then you just go through it. That's what going through these pictographs is going to do. And then once you get the pictographs down, you'll see these pictographs being used, or you'll see these words that's associated with these pictographs. You'll see these words being used in the scriptures, and then you'll see how each of these words can be associated with another thing to make another word. And it'll help you practically form sentences. I mean, it'll help you form sentences in a practical way. Let me be more clear. All right. All right. Abagada hawazachata. I think we went over this last time. I think we got this far. Ta is Tana'a. Na'a, which is a basket. Which, again, you know what I mean, you might see this like modern day. You know what I mean? You wanted to apply it to modern English. You know what I mean, Tana'a is basket. If you was reading as the language develops, or as our culture, as our, you know what I mean, as our culture developed, this word could be used for like a basket, a bucket, a bag, or, you know what I mean? You just think that you may see this word used as. So just something that carries something in. All right. But because this is the origin of this character, then as the language develops, you'll see this word being used in different ways, or you may see it used in different ways. All right. And this ain't a specific example. I'm just kind of giving a general example of what to look for. But the whole point is for you to just open your mind up to how these words, just be practical with the language. That's all. That's the whole point. Abagada hawazakata ya. All right, ya Salakia. Bear with me 1 second. Kata ya. All right, Salakia. All right, ya is yad, or hand. All right. And some words are used more often than others. This is probably one of the most easiest words to remember, in my opinion. It's used often. I mean, it's used often. It's used in a lot of brothers' names. It's used in a lot in the scriptures. Somebody's always doing something with their hands. You know what I mean, it's a word that's commonly used. So this should be one of the ones that's a little bit easier to remember. Katayaka. All right, next is ka, which is cop. Or palm. All right. And just a reminder, I don't want y'all to get caught up in like the spelling of each word or each, like the English spelling. The spelling that you see up top is just the phonetic spelling, which all that means is just how the word sounds. Like when you look in a dictionary, you'll see the word, and then in parentheses, you'll see the word spelled how it sounds. Like it'll have how can I explain this? But if you look in the dictionary, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Like you'll see the word, or you look on Google right now. Like, let me just give you an example. Let's see a word. Cool. And I'm trying to find a word with a couple syllables in it, just so you can see what I'm talking about. All right. Let's see, Slakia. Forgive me as I share my screen. Slakia is giving, internet's being a little slow. But you see the definition on the screen, right? So the word cooperate. And it's a you'll see in the middle. See if I can see that cursor on the screen. But you see in between each syllable, there's a dot to separate each syllable. Cooperate. And then underneath, it'll have these strange characters with these dashes and dots above the each character. That's not how the word is spelt. That's just there so that it'll help you be able to pronounce the word, so that you can look at this spelling, this phonetic spelling, and be able to understand. If it was written down, you'll be able to understand how this word is pronounced. All right. Now with modern technology, you can just click this icon right here, and it'll pronounce it for you. But if you didn't have that, if it was just written down, like, back in the day when people still read dictionaries, I don't know if you still read dictionaries, but you can't click on the page and have it pronounce it for you. You just have this phonetic spelling, and that's all this is. Let me go back to this. Oh, it's gone. Well, damn it. It's a lock here. But that's all this is. All right. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. But that's all this is. Like everything that you see me put on the screen up until this point, that's all this is. So put this back. So Ka. Oh, good night. Come on, work with me. Cooperate. Good night. All right. Oh my God. We was just doing so good. So like it, bear with me 1 second. Starting to act crazy. Oh my God, bro. Salaki, bear with me 1 second. Oh my God, bro. Salakia. Salaki, bear with me. I'm just waiting for this board to stop tripping. Jesus Christ. All right. Oh my God, bro. All right. Ka for cop. All right. All right. So when you see the English up top, what I'm writing up top, that's just to help you understand how to pronounce the character or the word. Cop is for palm. All right. Which is why that character looks like the bottom of your palm. Like, let me see. I hope this don't ruin what I got. But you see the screen, you see this palm that you see on the screen. That's where you get this image from. The lines, it's like a sideways palm. All right. It was sideways palm. If I were to finish this drawing out, you would just have the fingers there, and this will be the palm of the hand. All right. But that's what that is. All right. Forgive, my poor drawing. Katayaka la. All right. Next one is a la. Again, this is another one of those. Good night. It's another one of those characters that looks similar to English. Or the English looks similar to the Hebrew because, again, the Hebrew was here first. This is, again, before your oppressor came over here and taught the Native Americans, the so-called African Americans, the so-called Seminole Indians, the so-called Hispanics, English or Spanish. This is what we were speaking. Like the Native Americans that was in America before anybody came here, they would speak across the waters to the Dominicans, to the Haitians, to the to the so-called the Benjamites, the so-called Jamaicans, Caribbean islands. We would speak to one another in Hebrew. All right. That's why, again, if you go into these cultures before colonization, you see the similarities in the garments, the language, the artifacts, the culture, the practices. All those different things. You'll see similarities. and the art of the what's it called, the architecture, all of those different things. You'll see all these similarities because even though we were living in different areas and different so-called countries or territories, we shared one culture, we shared one language, we shared one God. You know what I mean? All right. So that's why you see now, you know what I mean, our oppressor's language is extremely close to our language, which is the Hebrew, because they just took our language, the similarities, or they took some similarities from our language and applied it to their own. You know what I mean, because that's what your oppressor does. He's a culture vulture. All right. Allah, lamad, learn. All right. The la is like a learning, like a stick that a elderly person will use to walk, to get around. I mean, an elder is someone that you learn from. I mean, which is why the la is represented by this character, and it means learn. I mean, you can either learn. There's a couple ways, just so you know what I mean, just to help embed this character and this meaning in your head. You know what I mean, there's a couple ways that you can learn. You can learn from just listening to the elder. You can learn from being obedient and taking what this elder, you know what I mean, says for face value, like the scriptures say. You know what I mean, ask your elders and they'll tell you who your oppressor is. I mean, like it says in Jeremiah 6:16. I mean, ask for the old paths, which is the good way. You know what I mean? You can just learn from history. You can learn from, because I know brothers and sisters. I mean, our elders have failed us. You know what I mean, they've just passed down due to the oppression that we've suffered under in this hell. You know what I mean, our elders have passed down hell to our children. I mean, to our sons and our daughters, to our brothers and sisters, to our, you know what I mean, to our wives and these sisters to their husbands. You know what I mean, we passed down hell, but you can learn from history. You can learn from Martin Luther King that your oppressor is the devil the Bible speaks of, when he said that he's led his people to a burning house, which is integration. You know what I mean, you can learn from Rosewood. You can learn from Black Wall Street. You can learn from, you know what I mean, you can learn from history that your oppressor can't be trusted, and that, you know what I mean, you learn from the Black Panther movement. What's it called? The Nation of Islam, NOI. You can learn from these Christian Israelite groups. You can learn from these Christian Israelite groups. You know what I mean, who the home of the truth is. You can learn from them. You see, like, oh, they broke off and they fell. You know what I mean, they broke off, and then you see that there was always some sort of deviancy, whether it was, you know what I mean, lust for money or fame, notoriety. You know what I mean? People calling themselves King David. They call themselves Christ. They call themselves the Comforter. They call themselves whatever. You know what I mean? Making themselves in the image of Christ, like the purple IUIC. You know what I mean? You can learn from them. You know what I mean? You can learn what not to do. You can learn that breaking off from the home of the truth, you know what I mean, not only going to destroy you, but you're going to destroy people that trust you, people that, you know what I mean, look up to you in your Christian Israelite group. You know what I mean? Or you can learn from experience. You know what I mean? Like some kids, you can just tell one time, do this, don't do this, and they listen to you. Some kids, you might have to discipline. You might have to talk sternly to them. You might have to whoop they behind. You know what I mean? And that's another use of the stick. You can see the learning stick in the elder's hand, and you can learn from that elder. You know what I mean? Just to help you understand the pictograph. You can learn from that elder. You can learn from that elder with that walking stick, or you can learn from that elder who beats you with the walking stick. You know what I mean, I pray you understand. And that's what these Christian Israelite groups and their members are learning right now. As of the Christian church and their members is learning right now, the Catholic Church, the Nation of Islam, You know what I mean? All of these different the NFAC, what's it called? The AFI, what is it? Or FBA, Salakia, that's what it is. That Foundational Black Americans. What's it called? The Black Lives Matter movement. They're all learning the hard way. They're learning from getting their behind whooped. You know what I mean? They getting arrested. They getting, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? You finding out that there's some sexual deviancy from you following from these leaders that you follow in these groups. You're finding out that they robbing you. You finding out that they assaulting your children and your wives. You're finding out that there's some mad LGBTQ activity going on in these different religions and groups. You know what I mean? We would have you learn the easy way. We would have you learn from the, you know what I mean, like the scriptures say, you know what I mean, respect the hoary head, paraphrasing. You know what I mean? We would have you just learn from the home of the truth. We've been established since 1969. You know what I mean? There's no one older. There's no Israelite group. There's nothing older than the ISUPK. And if you want to compare it to the Christian church and the Catholic church, there's nothing older than this language, than this culture. You know what I mean? There's nothing older for us. You know what I mean? There's nothing older for us than this. There's nothing older than this culture that the Most High gave to, you know what I mean, to Adam in the garden. You know what I mean? There's nothing older. So we would have you just look at us, you know what I mean, who've been telling you, like General Mayat said in the clip earlier, you know what I mean? It's what all these Christian Israelites need, because none of them know what the hell they doing. You know what I mean? We would have you just learn from the home of the truth. We would have you just follow Commander General Yohana, who've been holding this thing down. You know what I mean? The seven heads, you know what I mean, established the school in 1969. And when those seven heads dispersed, they left Commander General Yohana in charge. Unlike these other Christian Israelite groups, they put themselves in power. You know what I mean? They raised themselves up. They gave themselves rank. They gave themselves names. They named their own group. But Commander General Yohana, he was given this. You know what I mean? He was given charge of the school. He was raised up to a general. You know what I mean? He was put in a position, you know what I mean? He was raised up to a general, and then the seven heads above him left. They left him in charge of the school, and he held on to it. You know what I mean? And then he raised up other generals under, you know what I mean, up under him. Those generals raised up captains and, you know what I mean, and officers and troopers and sisters, you know what I mean, under one banner. All right. And there ain't been no scandal. There ain't been no thievery. There ain't been no robbery. There ain't been no LGBTQ activity. There ain't been none of that in here. I mean, we would have you just learn the easy way. But, you know, I mean, some brothers and sisters, you just got to learn the hard way. Again, there's two ways to learn. You can learn from the hoary head. You can just learn from following instruction the first time, or you can learn by getting your behind whooped. I mean, the Lord, you know what I mean, the Most High is good at, you know what I mean, whooping your behind when you need it. All right. Well, Ma is good night. As a matter of fact, we're going to go ahead and close it right there. All right, we're going to pick up. We'll pick up next class, Salaki. Good night. All right. All right. All right. With that, we're going to go ahead and close out right there. We're going to pick up next week where we left off. We left off on La. We're going to go into Mod and Pictographs. We're going to finish the rest of the Pictographs next week. I mean, Lord willing, you was able to get these down in your notes because you're going to need them for next class. All right. You're going to need them. You're going to need them not only for next class, but you're going to need them in future class, not only in class, but when you're reading the Lashawan Qadash, you're going to need it. All right. And when you read in the scriptures, all right, you're going to need it. You're going to need it so that when you see it, or when you see these words that we're talking about, you don't have to think about it. You don't have to try to, you know what I mean, muscle your way through it. You can just memorize it and see it and then read straight through it. But with that, we're going to go ahead and give a courtesy salute to the brothers. Yahal Bashim Yah Shah Brakathum to the brothers, and Shalom Yahal Shemal Thumb Bashim Yah Shah to the sisters. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you share it with your loved one, with your friends, whether you disagree or agree. I mean, share it anyway. You know what I mean? You think that we talking some nonsense, share it. You know what I mean? Don't be a coward. Share it. Share it to whoever agree with you. You know what I mean? So that y'all can scoff together. We don't give a damn. And morning, noon, and night, if you got any questions or comments or you want some smoke, you know what I mean, you can hit that QR code in that top corner. In the morning, noon, and night, there'll be a brother in that chat to answer all your questions and solve all your problems. All right. With that, shalom.